amazing morning. So I will be your teacher for this Mathematics 10. And my name is Miss Macy Mira Inandan. And the first topic that we're going to have is sequence under patterns in algebra for the first quarter. Okay, so let's have the first one. So we have in here triangle, triangle, circle, square, triangle, triangle, circle, then square. So if we're going to take a look on it, so the next shape will be triangle, right? Now, let's have number 2. For number 2, we have 0, 4, 8, 12, and 16. So in here, in this pattern, we're just going to add 4. So 16 plus 4 is equal to 20. So 20 plus 4 is 24. And then we have 28. And then we're going to have 32. Since we need to have the 10th number, so the 10th number will be, sorry, this must be 32. 36 will be the 10th number. Okay, now let's have for number 3, we have 9, 4, negative 1, negative 6, negative 11. So in here, this is decreasing order. So in this pattern, just going to deduct 5 since we have 4 minus 9 is equal to negative 5. And the negative sign denotes that we need to deduct 5 now. So negative 11 minus 5 is negative 16. And then negative 16, we have negative 21. And then we have negative 26. Since we need to get the 8th number. Now let's have number 4, wherein we need to have the 12th number. So we're just going to have 1, 3, 9, 27, and 81. We cannot add any, because if we're going to add 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and in our pattern, it must be 9. So in here, we can't add, we can subtract, and obviously it is not division since it is in increasing order, so we're going to have it sub multiplication. So in here, we're just going to multiply it by 3. So 81 times 3 is 243. And then we need to have the 12 number, so just going to multiply 243 times 3 is 729. Times 3 is 2,187. Times 3 is 6,561. Times 3, we have 19,683. Okay? And then times 3, we have 59,049. And then the last term for number 4, for the 12th number, will be 177,147. Okay? So that will be your final answer. And then for number 5, it is in this decreasing order, so we can subtract in here, but you can take a look on 160. It was divided by 2, so we got 80. So divided by 2, 40, divided by 2, 20, then divided by 2 is 10. So we're going to divide it by 2, and you will get 5. If we're going to get the 7th number, so 5 divided by 2 is 2.5 or 2.5, and that will serve as your final answer. You've probably made repeating patterns with shapes such as the one that we had now below with triangles, circles, and squares. So a sequence is a set of numbers written in a specific order or object. So we have in there a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, and so on and so forth. For it to have the a sub n or the n term. So the number a sub 1 is called the first term, a sub 2 is the second term, a sub 3 is the third term, and the general or the nth term is a sub n. A sequence is a set of numbers, so you have there the n term, so you have the first term, the second term, no? So with a specific order, so that's the sequence. Let's have the illustrative example 1. So you have there the finite sequence. Finite sequence is a sequence to the last term, while the infinite sequence is a sequence without the last term. So for example, the finite sequence that we have in here, so you have 12, 15, no? You have 17, 19, 21, up to 27. The other one you have 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. The last one that you have there is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So those are the finite sequence. You will know the last term. If you have the last term, that is the finite sequence. However, in the other hand, infinite sequence wherein you don't know the last term, no? Or the sequence without the last term. For example, you have 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on, so forth. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, so on and so forth. Then 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, and so on and so forth. So those are the examples of finite sequence and the infinite sequence. So our task in here is to find the next term of the sequence 19, 24, 29, and 34. Now, let's take a look on a sub 1. So our a sub 1 is the first term wherein we have 19. And then your a sub 2 is equivalent to 24. So that is your second term. Now, for us to get the pattern, so we can say that if we're going to deduct a sub 2 minus a sub 1, which is 19 minus 24, we can get so we're going to have 24 minus 19. So we're going to have 5. So for us to have the next term, we're just going to add 5. Addition or adding 5 because the answer for this is a positive. No? So it connotes that we're just going to add. So 34 plus 5, no? So that is 39. And that will serve as your final answer. Okay, so we have in here 6, 12, 24, 48. And then we need to get the next term. So a sub 1 is 6, or the first term. Your second term is 12, a sub 2. Your third term is 24, or a sub 3. Your a sub 4 is 48. So it's just going to have a sub 2 divided by a sub 1. Let's take a look if we have the same answer. If we're going to get a sub 3 divided by a sub 2. So in here, it is just 12 divided by 6, which is equivalent to 2. And then 24 divided by 12 is equivalent to 2. So meaning to say this one is the pattern. So what will be the pattern? So we're just going to multiply it by 2. So if you don't have the solution, it's okay. So if you're just going to take a look and analyze the pattern, you can get it by multiplying 2. No? So let's take a look. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. No? So if we're going to get the next term, no? So we can get 48 plus 48 times 2. So 48 times 2. So 48 times 2. So we can get 16, carry 1. Then you're going to have 96 as your final answer. Okay, so let's have illustrative example 4. We are given the n term wherein we have a sub n equals 3n minus 2. So that's the rule that we're going to take a look on how for us to have the pattern. Now let's have the first 4 terms. So let's have the rule a sub n equals 3n minus 2. So let's have the first term. first term, no? So in here, it is visible that the value of your n is 1. So instead of writing n, you will write 1. So 3 times 1, no, is 3 minus 2. And that will give you positive 1. No? So that will be your first term. Your second term, so let's have it in here. 1. Your second term, so the value of your n is 2. Instead of writing n, you will write 2. 3 times 2 minus 2. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2 will give you 4. So this is your first term, this is your second term, 4. No? And then we're going to have a sub 3. So the value of n is 3. Now 3 times 3 is 9 minus 2, and that is 7. So that is a sub 3. Now the fourth term will be 3 times 4 minus 2, and that is 12 minus 2. 12 minus 2 is equivalent to 10, and that will serve as your fourth term. Now, this is how you're going to deal with this. Or, if you can get 1 and 4, then you're going to take a look. I'm just going to add 3. So, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So, it's okay with me. An ordered list of numbers such as 6, 12, 24, 48, and so on is called a sequence. So the numbers in a sequence that are separated by commas are the terms of the sequence. So what do we have there? An example, so the first term is 6, the second term is 12, and the third term is 24. And the fourth term is 48. The 3 dots, no, that you have there indicate that the sequence continues beyond 48, which is the last written. No? So it is used, no, to use the notation and to designate the end sequence. Where represents the first term of a sequence, so you have there a sub n is equal to a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, and a sub 5, so on and so forth. Wherein you have a sub 1 as your first term, a sub 2 represents your second term, a sub 3 represents the third term of a sequence. So a sub n represents the end term of the sequence. Okay, so let's have the learning task 1 in your module. An old woman is overweight. Her doctor told her to decrease 35 kilos if she lost 11 kilos in the first week, 9 kilos in the second week, and 7 kilos in the third week. If she continues losing at this rate, how long will it take her to lose 35 kilos? So, let's have the first week. So, in the first week, we have 11 kilos, no? She lost 11 kilos. And then the second week, she lost 9. And then the third one, she lost 11. Is there a pattern in the number of kilos? So if ever you have seen, no, so let's describe it. Let's have 1 and 2. So number 2 is if there is, describe it. Okay, so first week we have 11. Second week we have 9. So it can be seen that we deducted 2. So we can have 11 minus 2 is equal to 9, no? Or we can say that 11 minus 9 is equal to 2. And then 9 minus 7, no? So we have a sub 1 is equal to 11. Your a sub 2 is equal to 9. Your a sub 3 is equal to 7. Now, let's have a sub 2 minus a sub 1. So a sub 2 minus a sub 1 is 9 minus 11, which is negative 2. Then a sub 3 minus a sub 2, which will give you 7 minus 9, and that is a negative 2 as well. So there's a pattern, so that is negative 2. And a negative 2 gives you, no, a mindset that you're just going to deduct 2. So the next number will be 7 minus 2, 5 minus 2 is 3. Now, so in here, we're just going to get along, no? How is each term or kilos found? So that is just a deduction of 2. So the question in this problem is, if she continues losing at this rate, how long will it take her to lose 35 kilos? So 11 plus 9 is 20, no? Going to add 11 plus 9 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3. No, 11 plus 9 is 20, no? And then we have 7 and 3, which is 10. 20 plus 10 is equal to 30 plus 5, and that will give you 35 kilos. So meaning to say, within the 5 weeks, no, she will lose, no, 35 kilos, which is the prescribed by her doctor. Okay. A sequence is a list of numbers in which order is important. That's why we have a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, and so on, until we come up with a sub n. Each number in the list corresponds to each natural number. A sequence may either be finite or infinite, the thing that I already have a while ago. So a finite sequence is a specific number of terms. An infinite sequence has an endless number of terms. To find the terms of a sequence given its rule, simply replace n with the number of the specific term needed to be found. So for a sub 1, or the first term, so the value of n that you will use is 1. A sub 2, the value of n that you will use is 2, so on and so forth. Nah? So let's have another set of examples for the finite and infinite sequences. For the finite sequence, so we have 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So the last term is 8. That's why this is a finite sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 8. No? So you know already what's the last term. So the last term is 8. Therefore, it's a finite sequence. Another example is 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1. So another finite sequence. And then let's have the next set of examples for the infinite sequence. First example, we have 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. So you don't know the last term. That's why this is the infinite sequence. 1, 1 half, 1 fourth, 1 eighth, and so on. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on. So most sequences have a general term or rule that describes all the terms in the sequence. There is no specific way of finding the general term of a given sequence.
Learning task 2. Write F if the sequence is finite, or I if the sequence is infinite before the number. Let's have number 1. We have 5, 15, 25, 35. In here, we have the last term, which is 35. Therefore, this is a finite sequence. Number 2. We have 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on. So we don't know the last term. That's why this sequence is an infinite. Number 3. We have 1, 9, 17, 25. We all know that the last term in this sequence is 25. That's why this is a finite sequence. Number 4, we have negative 9, negative 4, 1, 6, and so on. So this is infinite. 5, 2, 9, 16, 23. So we have the last term, which is 23. Therefore, this is a finite sequence. For number 6, we have 2, 6, 18, 54, and so on. That's why this is an infinite sequence. Number 7, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, up to 30. So the last term is 30. Therefore, this is a finite sequence. Then number 8, we have 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. So this is a finite sequence as well. Number 9, we have 16, 21, 26, and 31. So this is a finite sequence. And number 10, we have 24, 19, 14, 9, and so on. So therefore, we don't know the last term. So this sequence is an infinite sequence.
Okay, so let's have learning task 2. Find the next 3 terms of the given sequences. So let's have number 1. We have 2, 5, 8, 11. So in here, we're going to have 5 minus 2 or a sub 2 minus a sub 1 is equal to 3. Then 8 minus 5 or a sub 3 9 minus a sub 2 is equal to 3 as well. So, meaning to say the pattern that we have, no, we can just have the rule wherein we're going to add 3. So 11 plus 3 is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17, and plus 3 we have 20. Okay? Now let's have number 2. For number 2 we have 1, negative 3, negative 7, negative 11. So in here we're just going to have negative 3 or a sub 2 minus a sub 1, which is negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Now let's have a sub 3 minus a sub 2, which is negative 7 minus negative 7. So we're going to have it with negative 3. So we're going to have a negative 4 as well. Now, so meaning to say in here, we're just going to deduct 4. So negative 11 minus 4 is negative 15. Minus 4 is negative 19. Minus 4 is negative 23. Okay. Now let's have number 3. We have 1, 4, 16, 64. So in here, we're just going to multiply it by 4. 1 times 4 is equal to 4. 4 times 4 is equal to 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 64 times 4 is 256. Times 4 is 1024. Times 4 is 4096. Okay, so let's have number 4. So we have 60, 48, 36, 24. This is in decreasing order. So it is the matter of we're going to subtract or we're going to divide. No? So in here, 48, no? If we're going to deduct it with 60, so we're going to get a negative 12. No? 36 minus 48, so we have negative 12. So in here, we're just going to deduct or minus 12. So 24 minus 12 is 12. Minus 12 is 0. Minus 12 is negative 12. Now let's have number 5. We have 1, 4. We still have in here 9. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. So in here, this is just the square root of the number. No? 1 times 1 or 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. 3 squared or 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is equal to 25. So the next with 5 is 6. So 6 squared is 36. 7 squared is 49. No? Then we have 8 squared, which is 64. For number 6, no, it is increasing order, so it is either adding or multiplying. So in here, we're just going to multiply the term by 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64, and times 2 we have 128. So for number 7, we have 2, 6, 18, and then we have 54. So increasing order as well. So in here, it's either adding or multiplying. So with 6 and 2, no, so we can have it as 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 3 is 18, times 3 is 54, times 3 is 162, times 3 is 486, times 3 is 1,458. No? And then, we're going to have number 8, 3.2, 4.3, 5.4. Then, if ever you have seen, no, increasing, adding, or multiplying. So, we have just a minimal difference. So, this is just addition. So, 4.3 minus 3.2 is 1.1. 5.4 minus 4.3 is 1.1 as well. So, meaning to say, for us to get the next term, we're just going to add 1.1. So 5.4 plus 1.1 is 6.5, plus 1.1 is 7.6, plus 1.1 we have 8.7. And then we have number 9. We have negative 7, negative 9, negative 11, negative 13. So this is what? Decreasing, no? So it is just dividing or subtracting. Now, what are we going to subtract? Because this is just a minimal difference. So in here, we're just going to have negative 9, no, minus negative 7. So we're going to have 2. So we're going to have a negative 2. So we're just going to add negative 2. Negative 13 minus negative 2 is negative 15. Minus negative 2 is negative 17. And then minus negative 2, no? So we have negative 19. So here are the answers for the learning. Okay, so let's have the other one. Write the first 4 terms of the sequence whose nth term is given by the rule. So let's have the first one. So we need to have the 4 terms, first 4 terms. So we need to have 1, 2, 3, then you have 4. Now, the rule for number 1 is a sub n equals to n minus 1. So, for us to get a sub 1, or the first term, instead of writing n, you're going to write 1. So, this will be 2 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 1 minus 1. No? 2 times 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. Now, let's have a sub 2. So, 2 times 2 minus 1, which will give you 3. Then, a sub 3, which is 2 times 3 minus 1, and that will give you 5. Then, your a sub 4 is 2 times 4 minus 1, which will give you 7. So, in here, the pattern will be 1, 3, 5, and 7. Now, let's have for number 2. For number 2, so a sub 1 is equal to 12 minus 3 times 1. 12 minus 3 times 1 is 3. So, this will give you 9. Then, we have a sub 2 is 12 minus 3 times 2, which will give you 12 minus 6, which is 6. A sub 3 is 12 minus 3 times 3, which is 12 minus 9, which is 3. And then the fourth number will be 12 minus 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12 minus 12 is 0. So we can get 9, 6, 3, and 0. So this will be serves as your final answer. No? And then let's have a sub n, which is 3n. So this is just easy. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. So that will serve as your final answer. Okay. So for number 4, your rule is a sub n equals 5n plus 1. So for your first term, 5 times 1 plus 5. Second term, 5 times 2 plus 5. Third term, 5 times 3 plus 5. Fourth term is 5 times 4 plus 5. So, 5 times 1 plus 5 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 5, 15. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 5, which is 20. Then 5 times 4 plus 5 is 25. So for our pattern, so we're going to have 10, 15, 20, then we have 25. This will serve as our final answer. Then for number 5, we have a sub n equals 8 minus 2n. So we're just going to have a sub 1, 8 minus 2 times 1. A sub 2 is 8 minus 2 times 2. A sub 3 is 8 minus 2 times 3. And then a sub 4 is equal to 8 minus 2 times 4. What will give you? Okay, 8 minus 2 times 1 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. That will be 8. That is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Then we have 8. Then, so that will be 8 minus 6. And that will be 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 8 is 0. So for our answer, we're going to have 6, 4, 2, and 0. For the learning task 3 in your module, you just need to determine your family's expenses in the last 4 months. So what are those family expenses? For example, if you are renting a house, so that's the rent, no? If you are, what will be the amount of your food for the 3 months, no? But the first thing is to have it per month. So we're going to have it 4 months, no? So what other expenses? So you have food, transportation, no? You have the study or for the school, no? What else? Renting, bills. If you're talking about bills, you have the water bills, the electric bills, and internet bills if you have. So those are the expenses, no? For the last 4 months. So you just need to analyze it and find a pattern, create a sequence equation for it, and determine the next 3 months expenses. So after dealing with your 4 months expenses, you will have the pattern. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? And then you're going to have the expectation for the next 3 months. So, and then you're going to answer the following questions. So first one is analyzing sequence challenging for you. 2. Were you able to find patterns and get the unknown? 3. What mathematical concept or concepts did you use to find the unknown? Number 4. What realization did you have with this lesson? So if you have questions, you can just send me a personal message for that. Okay? Okay, so let's have, there you go. So let's have the first one, a sub n plus 4. So given the first term, we have 1 as the value of n. So 1 plus 4 is 5. No? Then n, so second term is 2. So 2 plus 4 is 6. So if ever you have seen, just going to add 1. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Na? Now, let's have number 2. For number 2, 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 1 gives you 1. Then 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Minus 1 is 3. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 1 is 5. So 2 times 4 is 8, minus 1 is 7. And then, let's have number 3. 12 minus 3 times 1. So, since our first term is 1, the value of n, so that will give you 9. 12 minus 3 times 2, which is 6. 12 minus 6 is 6. 3 is the value of n. So, 3 times 3 is 9. So, 12 minus 9 will be 3. Then, 4 is the fourth number for letter n for the fourth position or the fourth number or term. So, that will be 3 times 4 is 12. So, 12 minus 12 is 0. Now, let's have number 4. So, a sub n equals 3n. So, we're just going to multiply it by 3. 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. Then, let's have number 5. So, negative 2 times n. Na? So, we need to say it will be negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is equal to negative 4. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And the last term will be negative 2 times 4, which will give you negative